Good morning, ladies and gentlemen in the Ninja Nation. It's Peter Parnag. I'm a Ninja and Selling instructor, and here we are at the Ninja Nation where we talk about all things Ninja all the time. Let's finish questions 6 through 10 in the buyer's process. Now, I want to reiterate how important it is to actually draw the funnel. A lot of people want to skip the drawing part because they think, well, it's too elementary. But even if you've got a PhD in nuclear physics and you've got an MD or a rocket scientist, there is something about showing is better than telling so they can see that everything is there. So don't hesitate, even if you're not a very good funnel drawer, and I'm going to reiterate, practice funnel drawing because it really does matter. But now we're going to pick up at question number 6. When you finish the funnel, now you ask the great question, which is, so Mr. Buyer, buyers, who's sitting there, on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is just beginning to look today and 10 is you're ready to buy today, where would you rate yourself in the process? And if you'll recall at that point, they're going to say maybe 6 or 7. And you're going to ask the most important question now is, what would have to happen for you to be a 10? And this is a question, I wouldn't change one word in it. It's a little bit tricky because it can, if you modify it, you could come off as sort of a closing salesperson. So just make sure you ask, what would have to happen for you to be a 10? They'll say something like, I've got to find the right house, I've got to get a loan, I've got to sell my existing house. Take a lot of time here to make sure that you flesh this out. This is not a time to rush. This is a time to do a really great investigation so that you identify any potential problems that could come up while they're under contract. If you're a little bit uncomfortable with them and you've just met them and you can't tell, maybe you'd ask, do you have your down payment in order? Are there any things in your credit that you need to take care of? It's okay to be a little bit prying here because we want to get this on the table at this point rather than after we found them the house. Question number 7, if you recall, is really the 2 pieces of paper exercise. I'm going to hand a piece of paper to both parties if there are 2 there. If there's 1, obviously just give it to 1. And then you're going to ask the great question was, do me a favor. Make a list of everything you're really, really hoping to get in this house. And then if you could, make a star by those things that are most important to you, maybe the top 3. And if you recall in the installation, one of the things we described is often, if not most of the time, if you're dealing with a couple, their list is not aligned. That's just fine. But now you go through the what's and the whys. Remember, what's our people ask for? Why is why they want them. In other words, if they say 4 bedrooms, they may not need 4 bedrooms, but what they really need is a bedroom and a guest room and 2 offices. So this is really the time to slow down and ask them pretty explicitly, when you say you need 4 bedrooms, how are you going to use those bedrooms? Do they have to be bedrooms or could they be working spaces? If they say a 3-car garage, ask them, tell me, do you have 3 cars or do you need storage? In other words, go through each one in great detail because what you'll discover is often the criteria that you end up with is different than the starting criteria. And then when you start your selection process / elimination process, when you're actually in the MLS, you'll have a much better chance of getting it right the first time. The other reason this is so important, it's why we have such great results in our system for only showing houses on the first or the second time out. So next week we'll cover questions 8, 9, and 10, and then you'll have finished the buyer process and you'll be ready to go. You've done the seller process, the buyer process. Have a fantastic week, and remember, this stuff works.